Good afternoon, President. Am I audible? Good afternoon to everyone present here.
Yes, you are audible, ma'am. Please go ahead.
Thank you. On behalf of the organizing committee, I extend a warm welcome to the more. Yeah, sorry. On behalf of the organizing committee, I extend a warm welcome to all the distinguished guests, keynote speakers, presenters, and participants and colleagues joining us today for this academic session. I am Dr. Venkat Lakshmi Kancheti, and I have the privilege of moderating this session. We are delighted by your presence and active participation in this online platform. It is now my honor and pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker for this session, Professor Radhika Venugopal Madam. Radhika Venugopal is a professor of communication at Conestoga College, Canada, with over 7 years of international teaching experience in Canada and India. She specialized in English for academic purpose, academic writing, research skills, and professional communication in multicultural learning. With a strong background in literature, academic discourse, and blended learning, Radhika Ma'am is known for her student centered approach and engaging practical teaching style. In addition to her academic career, Radhika Ma'am is a published feature writer, having contributed to India's first online music magazine. She is known for designing engaging student centered learning experiences that blend traditional pedagogy with technology enhanced and hybrid learning approaches. Today, she will be delivering a keynote address on the topic Voices Without Faces, Digital Mediation, Anonymity, and the Rewriting of Voice in Fiction. We are confident that this session will offer valuable insights and significantly enhance our understanding of the subject. With great respect and anticipation, I now invite Professor Radhika Venugopal Madam to take over the session and deliver her keynote address. Professor Radhika Venugopal Madam, the virtual floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for that wonderful introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm very happy to be a part of this 3-day international conference. If you don't mind, if I can share my PowerPoint before I go any further. Yes. I hope the slides are visible.
Yes, madam.
Great, thank you. I'm very happy to be a part of this conference, like I was saying, and thank you for that wonderful introduction, ma'am. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the college for inviting me here. I would like to thank Principal Sir and the convener, Dr. Malleshwar Rao, and all the members of the organizing team for having me here. It is always a pleasure to be a part of a conference. This is the place, a platform where a lot of minds come together and we share innovative ideas. It's a place for us to be inspired to take the road down research once again. Thank you so much for having me here. So today I found the theme of this conference equally interesting. It is very what do you say, relevant to the studies that we have today. So I have tried to take something that will fit into the theme of this conference. So my topic here is voices without faces. I'm trying to bring in a theory called digital de-individuation here, and how it helps to rewrite voice in contemporary fiction. So this is something that I will be talking about today. I feel that this topic is again quite relevant since we are all living in the digital age now. we've moved a long way when it comes to mass communication. So recently I was teaching a paper, I was teaching a course on pop culture and mass communication, and it that's when I kept thinking about how long we have come when it comes to communication and mass media. Every other innovative medium of communication, we have faced a lot of challenges, and it has reflected in our linguistic abilities. So this was something that I found very interesting, and um, in digital age today, the most important thing that has happened is the voice has changed because of the anonymity that it produces. We are all aware of how in social media we have voices, we have a platform to show our voices and exhibit our opinions, but everything is done behind a mask. We are all anonymous. So we there is a what happens is we lose our physical form when we come to the medium of computer mediated communication. So all that is left is our language and linguistic abilities to show who we are. So this I found as a very, very interesting concept, and I wanted to see how this has reflected in literature. So this is a small research that I have done today, and I will try my best to fit in all that I have found into this session, and I hope you find it useful. So some of the few theories that I will be touching upon today are digital de-individuation, and I'm going to be talking about computer mediated communication, or CMC as we call it, and how this has changed our um, identity. A concept of identity, how it has changed the concept of voice, literary voice, and how this has changed the narrative style when it comes to contemporary literature. I've tried to take one or two recent works of literature to compare and understand what I'm discussing today. So, digitally mediated communication or computer mediated communication is not a recent innovative study. It has always been there, but I feel today it is all the more relevant because screens have become a part of our lives, and most of the communication, as we are doing right now, is over screens. Any kind of discourse has is over screens these days. It could be our mobile phone devices, or it could be a laptop like we're doing right now. It could be over an email. It could be over a text message. It could be the social media platforms that we have to show our opinions. So this kind of communication is becoming all the more relevant today, and it has somehow reshaped our identity and the voice that we have had. I'm sure you'll agree with me when I say this, because we are no longer expected to be there in the physical form to communicate. All we need is a screen. We need a few keys, and we will be able to communicate whatever we want to do. So this has definitely altered what we call as our identity or a voice, and this has reflected in contemporary culture. So in literary representations, when we take computer mediated communication or CMC, we start to notice that the characters speak through anonymized or fragmented forms of language. So in the recent, it could be even the movies, or it could be the novels that we have of recent times. We can see how the language is altered from the previous traditional kind of narrative styles. It has become more fragmented. It has become more technologically filtered kind of a language. Now, this this is challenging the. This has started to challenge our traditional notions of voice, what we call as voice. Previously, we gave voice we looked at voice as an embodiment of the character, or of the psychology. But today, it is completely different, because it involves computer or digital mediated communication, right? So this is what I'm talking about today, and I will be drawing on, like I said, the de-individuation theory. I will be talking a little bit about it, and how this how you can look at it from a discourse oriented approach to language. And I will touch upon the contemporary fiction that uses or uses um, these components to rewrite voice under conditions of anonymity. This is what I will be discussing today, and let me go into what I mean by voice in the first place. So, literary voice has always been tied to embodiment. So the voice in literature has always been an expression of identity and authorial presence. So it could be in the form of a narrator telling us, giving us a background of where something is happening, or it could be the characters talking that helps us understand who the character is, what the character holds in the society, the position that the character holds in the society. We used to understand the social positioning of the character. So with the voice, we were able to understand whether the character is belongs to a particular age group, belongs to a particular gender, belongs to a race, belongs to a particular social ranking. These were a lot of things that we had a lot of clues that we could collect from literary voices in the traditional kind of narration. And it is always most often connected to character psychology and subjectivity, right? But today, again, with the expansion of the digital media, this has slightly changed. And because the communication takes place through screens and platforms, um, there is the physical form has been hidden or obscured, and we are no longer able to look for these what do you call as social cues or physical cues, or um, body language is no longer there. You don't understand what the character is trying to say, because fragments of language that they use. So we have come a long way when it comes to digital media. So, like I said, there is a disruption. So digital environments have disrupted this kind of communication. I'm not talking about it again in a very negative sense. I'm looking at the entire paper does not um, criticize, or in a negative way, does not say how the voice has changed. I'm trying to look at it from a linguistic point of view, so that we understand uh, how we will have to live with this in future. And this is going to be our future, so we have no other choice but to live with it. So we are trying to look at it from a very positive point of view. So now that screens have replaced our physical presence, the social cues that we used to earlier look for has reduced. So this has led to anonymity and de-individuation. Now, what I mean by de-individuation is, I mean, it's a very famous theory in social psychology. It means your individuality or your self awareness is obscured. So this is what we mean by digital. De-individuation, and we have something called digital de-individuation because we are talking about digital media. So when we are a part of the digital media or communication, computer-mediated communication, we tend to lose our self awareness or self identity. And more than losing, I think it reshapes. We become a totally different person on screen um, versus what we are in reality. But I don't. I would also say that this is like I said, mass media, mass communication has seen a lot of changes over the years. So, right from the time the print media started, there's always been a resistance to these changes. All these changes have been looked at with fear. So, when print media came, the churches looked at it in a very they did not like print media coming up. So when written, I've read when writing became a medium of communication, great thinkers like Plato were against it, saying how writing can erase our memories, our thinking ability. So every kind of change in the medium has faced a lot of resistance, and it has been faced with fear. Right, so same is the case with digital media, same is the case with computer mediated communication. We are still looking at it with fear because we are scared if we will lose our traditional narrative styles of writing. Right, so we are looking at how language has changed with we are looking at it with a lot of fear, and we are wondering if we'll have to live with this kind of a thing in future. Right, so it is scary, but I would say that this is going to be our future, so we'll have to make the best use of it. So, computer mediated communication. Let me first explain this term. I'm sure it is not a new term, but just to for anybody whom it might help. So, computer mediated communication, or CMC as we call it, is any discourse that happens over a screen, or any discourse that happens over a computer, or these days it need not be even a computer, even the devices that we have, because we don't need a computer to send emails anymore. So any device, any kind of communication that takes place over screen is called computer mediated communication, or CMC. So this includes texts, emails, social media, etc. So what happens is, when this kind of a communication has come into practice, it has blurred speech and writing. So it has reshaped our narrative time and coherence. Okay, so because why I would say this is because there is an urgency in communication now. It has become very easy for us to access the person that we want to communicate. From anywhere, anytime, we can contact a person. So now I'm talking to you from a country that's so far away from India, but it is happening now. This communication has become very easy for us. It has become very immediate. So if I want to talk to someone from a different time zone, I don't have to think twice. It is very easy for me to send a message, a text message, and just wait for the reply to come. So, but what this has done, this immediacy, what this has done in conversations is that it has led to the conversations becoming very fragmented, right? So, we no longer look at long messages being conveyed. We just want the message to go across. So that has led to fragmented conversations. Messages have become asynchronous, obviously, because we're using screens. And so the narrative temporality has reshaped. We I don't think anybody anymore has the time to read really lengthy narratives, right? So we are so used to short and very concise messages being sent across. This is being reflected in fiction as well, right? So when we are used to this kind of a language, so when we are dealing with students, we meet a lot of students who say that they are unable to hold their attention when it comes to reading for more than a few seconds. That's because that is the effect of computer mediated communication. So screens have done that. We the time that the person has to communicate with the audience is very short. So the time would almost be the time that the person looks at the screen and a swipe away. That's all. So that's the only time that the person has to convey what he or she wants to convey to the audience. So the message that you're trying to convey to the audience has become very fragmented, so very short. It is no longer the grammatically long or correct sentence that we are looking at. We are looking at fragments of messages that just needs to be conveyed. Now this shift has reflected even in contemporary fiction, where novels or stories are including or incorporating emails and text messages or online discourses into their narrative forms. I'm sure this is not a new concept again. When letters or printed writing was came into existence, we had novels that we called as epistolary novels, novels that were written in the form of letters. So it is not something new. Obviously, the change is all about the syntax. We can talk about how the language has changed, but the whole system is the same. So previously, it used to be novels written in the form of letters. Today, we have novels and stories written in the form of emails and text messages and social media posts. So I don't, there is no, it is just a change in the mass communication, or it is just a change in the CMC that has happened. But the major change, I would say, is with the linguistic side, or with the narrative style. There is a lot of change that has been happening in contemporary fiction. Um, so I kept talking about the de-individuation theory. So, like I said, this is where the individual identity is kind of obscured. Again, this might look like a new term to us, but it is not. We have always talked about mass mentality, mob mentality, crowd mentality. We have talked about all of these things. When we are in a crowd, when we are in a group, we tend to follow what the group says, right? So we there our individual identity or personality is kept aside for some time, and we become a part of the group, and we tend to do what the group does, right? So this is basically what I mean by de-individuation theory. Now today we are applying the same concept to digital media or digital mediated communication. Now here we are trying to talk about how, when we are in an online platform, we do not have a personality. We are all wearing, we are all hidden behind profiles, right? So we these days we have something called avatars. So we are all hidden behind avatars. We don't have the need to show our real faces. So the person on the other side does not know who they are talking to. So it's only the language that will matter here, right? So the individual identity of the person is obscured. So this is one thing that I will be talking about. The next thing I will be discussing is discourse-oriented approaches to language. That is how we can look beyond the rules of grammar. So again, connecting it to contemporary literature, how it is no longer the traditional narrative style. Uh, Even sentences that do not look grammatically complete are acceptable today in literature, because of the changes that have happened in CMC. Okay, and next, the central point of this paper is about voice. How voice has it has always been a social tool. We have formed a voice because of society, and it is shaped by society, and it happens when it is performed repetitively. Now, these are some of the things that I will be discussing today. Let's look a little more in depth about the de-individuation theory. Now, this was coined in the 1950s by a social psychologist called Leon Festinger, and a lot of people have talked about this. This is where individuals lose their self awareness or self restraint when they are in a group. Again, this is not a new concept. We know about mob mentality. We earlier it used to be the riots and revolts that we used to see on the streets when people move as a group. How they forget who they are and they do what the mob does, right? So it might be against their own identity, it might be against their principles, it could be against their ethics, but they end up doing it whatsoever because the group does it. Now, there was a very interesting social experiment that was done that I read when I was doing this research, about how during the Halloween times, when the kids wear a mask or a costume, how their behavior changes. So, kids, when they wear their costumes and masks and go from one house to another for trick or treating, um, this experiment was done where a set of children wearing the costumes had to go to each house and ask for candies. And the people in the house used to ask them to reveal their faces. Please show me who you are. Which house do you come from? Where do you live? And when the children used to reveal themselves, they used to take only the candy that the person used to offer. But there was another group of experiment being done on children who were not asked to reveal their identities. So they went from house to house, and nobody asked them who they were or where they came from. So they were just looked at, in their costumes. So when the kids wore masks, there was a higher rate of candy theft, so they used to steal the candies that were kept out for the children because they were masked, they were in a costume, nobody knew who they were anonymous. So that led them to do things that they wouldn't usually do, right? So that is the power of a mask, or that is the power of anonymity. um, it used to be associated with violence previously. It had a very negative, so de-individuation, the term itself had a very negative connotation earlier because, like I said, mob mentality is often related to negativity, is often related to violence and things like that. But it could be looked at from different angles. It's a debatable topic there. um, right now, what I can say, it has reshaped our identity, so we leave it there because we can look at it from different aspects. Today it holds a very, very important role because, like I said, when we look at it from a social media point of view, the online trolling, as we call today, and the meme culture, these are all indicators of de-individuation theory. So we have heard about how people hiding behind profiles and fake profiles, they come out, and use language that they don't usually use when they are their true self, right? So when their identity is hidden, when they are anonymous, they tend to their identity shifts they change their identity to being someone else. So there is a reshaping that is happening. There are people who use it for good. There are people who use it in the negative way as well. So let's not. The whole point of this paper is not to look at the negativity, but to look at how the language has changed over the years, especially in fiction. So this is the de-individuation theory that I was talking about. So when we look at the language, um, so previously, the narrative style was such that we got a lot of clues, a lot of background information about where the story is taking place, who the character is, where the character is coming from, what kind of a social position that does the character have, um, the gender, the race, a lot of things, a lot of markers were there for us. But today, it is all about the linguistic side that we have to look at, the style of writing, the tone, the repetition. These are the pointers that we have to look at, and these are the substitutes for visual and auditory signals. So these are the changes that have happened because of de-individuation. Now, when we look at it from a discourse perspective, from a society, from how a language is used in a society, um, the voice that is used, we know that it is socially produced. So what we call as the voice is what the society um, you know expects us to have. So the all the voice that we have is what we expect from the societal norms, right? It is shaped by a lot of power. It is shaped by ideologies, and it is intense. Now, in digital spaces, it is different. Now, when we look at it from so I have taken this example of a novel called The Circle by Dave Eggers. Now, this is a very dystopian. This is a dystopian novel where it's almost like your Brave New World kind of a novel, but in a more recent setup where uh, technology takes over, and the characters are asked to be transparent. By transparent, they mean every action of theirs will be seen by using apps. So the transparent. So it's the opposite of anonymity. So I was talking about being anonymous earlier. Now this is this particular novel talks about the opposite of anonymity. Okay, so being transparent, and how every move of the character will be tracked. So here the voice becomes more institutional, and it is no longer personal. So the characters in these novel uh, have group norms. So whatever happens as a group is what they will have to do. It's a very dystopian novel, and I think it's a very good example to explain what I'm trying to say here. Now, digital mediation, like I was saying, it fragments the voice. um, so narrative style has started becoming fragmented. So again, another example that I can talk about is a short story called Masked by Rich Larson. Now this found its place in Isaac Asimov's magazine, so along with a lot of other science fiction works. This is a beautiful short story where the narrative style is completely fragmented. We do not understand where it happens. There is no background information given to us about where this particular story is taking place. We do not. It has very non-linear structure. The sentences are very non-linear. It is not the traditional kind of writing. There is no explanations given for the actions of the characters. So this kind of narrative style is all. It is all because of digital mediated communication. So when we include technology into the stories, the language changes like this. there are a lot of omission of details. We do not understand why the character behaves a certain way. We do not understand what happened before or what will happen later. So there's a lot of non-linear structure there, and it is very deliberate, because I think that is how it is on media as well, right? So it is, everything is immediate, everything is what happens at that moment. So nothing is, you do not have a background information, or you do not know what will happen later. So this is the impact of digital media on literature as well. So on the narrative style of literature too. So what are the formal changes that has happened in fiction because of all these things? So like I said, there is disrupted dialogue delivery by the characters. um, um, For example, I'll go to my previous slide. In what do you call, the novel called The Circle, you have these slogan types of sentences like privacy is theft, sharing is caring. Now, these are sentences that you find in the novel, which will almost look disrupted, and they almost look like slogans of a group. So this is what I meant. And then there is compressed syntax being used, very technological, your email or SMS kind of text language is being used in literary narrations, and interface based narration. Now this is also a very interesting term. For example, in this story called The Masked, the very term masking and unmasking. So basically, in this story, the characters wear an augmented reality screen to hide their real faces. So their real identities are obscured, and they wear an augmented reality faces. Now these augmented, they live like that. So if they want to show an emotion, the screen changes. So when they want to cry, the screen becomes a crying emoji, or when they laugh, the screen becomes a laughing emoji, and things like that. So the novel, I mean the story, also uses language like that, masked and unmasking. They almost look like status indicators, almost like the switch on and off that we can talk about, So interface based narration has come into fiction. Now, anonymity, we have to talk about the role of anonymity when we talk about all of these things. It is the central feature of online spaces. Now, when we look at digital media, we know that except for some of us who really want to show who we are, most of them want to remain anonymous when they are on a digital space. So what happens is this will enable experimentation, and they are ready to try things that they wouldn't usually try when they are in their real self, in their real life. And this can destabilize identity. So what definition that we have given to our identity is no longer available, because um, you want to remain anonymous. So this is also called, this destabilizing of identity is also called the disinhibition effect. Okay, so we do not have any more inhibitions, so we want to try out everything that we want to do on the online space, because there is no one to look at us or judge us when we are in an anonymous identity, right? So there is a shift that happens from personal identity to social identity. So again, this is where the de-individuation theory is relevant, and this is where what we call as the group or the mob mentality comes into effect. So we start to follow what majority of the society is following. So our personal identity is kept aside for some time, and especially, I mean, this is very relevant, especially when you're on Twitter or any of the social media platforms. We tend to associate with the majority of voices that we hear on the social media. So our our identity. We are ready to experiment. We are listening to multiple voices now. Previously we did not have exposure to so many voices, so many opinions, so many ideas. So we had more time to look into ourselves and come up with our own idea. But now we are exposed to so many voices that there is a shift happening from our personal identity to social identity. We want to we don't have a choice but to listen to what the majority of people are saying, and we try to see think if we can fit into those roles. Now, another novel that I have uh, listed here is No One Is Talking About This by Patricia Lockwood. It's a very recent novel. It's an American writer. um, so again, here it is about anonymity. So the previous novel that I talked about, The Circle, was the opposite of this. But here, this novel is very interesting because you can look at it from two parts. It can be divided into two parts. The first part, the narrative style is completely like an online discourse. So the first part of the novel, the narration happens in the form of posts that you post on social media, like Twitter or something. They don't name the social media platform, obviously. They just call it the portal. Okay, and a very apt name because the moment you enter into these social media platforms, it's almost like you're entering into a portal, into a different a world altogether. So the first half of the novel talks about, is written in the form of these posts that you make on social media. So they're very fragmented. They're very disrupted. So you do not understand how the story is taken forward. So the main character and the main character in this novel does not have a name. I mean, the name is not revealed in the novel because, again, to make a point of being anonymous. Okay, so just like how in online discourses you don't reveal your real self, this novel also, the central character's name is not revealed in the novel at all. So the first part of the novel is completely fragmented and post like. There is an unnamed narrator. The voice is as a circulating discourse. By circulating discourse, we mean the to and fro discourses that we have, like a text messages that we share or emails that we share. So that is how the first half of the novel goes. In the second half, the character has a personal tragedy, and then there is a shift from online life to real life. So then there is a change in the narrative style. So there is a very clear contrast in language in this one particular novel itself. So within this novel, you will be able to see that contrast in languages. Right, so this is another example that we can look at when we are talking about changes in language when it comes to CMC, or computer mediated communication. Okay, coming back to literary, I know I'm moving here and there, but I'm just trying to put my thoughts together here. So, yeah, next is literary de-individuation. Is Again, like I've been repeatedly telling, it is about how your identity is stripped down to linguistic performance alone. So everything is about language now. Okay, so your identity is masked. Your identity is no longer visible. You are almost invisible. All that shows your presence is the language that you have, and this language that you have also is almost like a collective voice that you have more than an individual voice, right? So this is another novel that, if you are interested, you can have a look at, The Circle. Now, this is in stark contrast with the other novel that I was mentioning. In this novel, um, there is transparency. So in the previous novel, the novel focused on anonymity, how people behave when they are anonymous, versus in this novel where transparency is highlighted. So it is talking about an age. I mean, we might all live in that age in the near future. We do not know. It's a very dystopian novel about how technology can take over our lives so much that every move of ours can become transparent. Everything that we do is under the control of apps. It's a very sometimes a very scary thought, but again, it might be something that we might not be able to escape from. So we have to gear up. So yeah, so there is a radical transparency there, and there's a loss of anonymity. So what happens when you're anonymous versus what happens when you are no longer anonymous, when you are transparent, when everybody can see your actions, right? One post that you make, one opinion that you post, one like that you click on, everything is known to everybody else, right? So being anonymous has its pros and cons. Being transparent also has its pros and cons. It's about the balance that we need to look at. So when you try and compare these two texts, there are a lot of things that you can compare. So the anonymity, what happens when you're anonymous? There is instability because you experiment, you want to do everything that you want to do. So there is a chaotic kind of a problem there, because you're anonymous and you want to try out everything that you want to do. And when you're transparent, when all your actions are out there for the public to see, there is enforcement, there is regulation, right? Because you know that you're being watched, then you might have to regulate yourself. And but what happens is creativity gets blocked there, because even if you want to try out something new, you are not able to do it because you are transparent, your actions are transparent. Both these things can reshape your voices. Being anonymous is also a problem. Being transparent is also, it both can reshape the way you project your voice. So these texts can show how digital mediation can both liberate, at the same time regulate voices. Right? Your voice can be liberated. Your voice can also be regulated because of digital mediation. So this is something that I noticed with the texts, and of course how language discourse has been affected. The innovations in language because of CMC. There are hybrid textual forms now, because in the narration you have a lot of different kinds of narration being included. You have email forms, you have text forms, you have social media post forms, everything being included into your um, narrative style. And there is meme based switching practices also happening inside the narrative style. So language discourse has changed because of digital mediation. Even silence has a meaning, right? I mean, if we have to take a very very simple example, a very normal example, when we are used to texting, even ellipses that we include within our text have a meaning, right? Even those three dots or two dots that we include after an expression or something that we say is a form of communication. The sometimes the way you reply to a person, the person on the other end can almost hear you, right? It's very astonishing how with simple text messages a person on the other side can understand the tone that you're trying to convey. The person can understand whether you're angry, the person can understand whether you're talking in love, the person can understand whether you are irritated. So many emotions are conveyed with just the text message. It's not even your handwriting. There is a very clear difference when it is your handwriting. The way you scribble or the way you neatly write can convey a meaning, but when it is a text message, it is going to be identical, but still the person on the other side can understand the emotion that you're trying to convey. Now, that's a very, very interesting thing. We've got so used to digital communication that we are able to hear the voice. Even the silence has a meaning, right? So that is something that is interesting. And anonymity again as a resource. We when we have anonymous characters, we when we remain anonymous, what happens is it enables resistance, and it allows experimentation. So it helps us to um, when you're anonymous, it helps you to experiment. So when you give a character a form, an embodiment, what happens is we expect the character to behave in a certain way. But like I said, in the novel, no one is talking about this. The character does not have a description. The character does not have a name. So we can expect the character to behave in any different way that the character wants to. We can be surprised by the character's actions, right? So it allows experimentation. So there is creativity there, right? But again, it has to be whether it is under check or not is the problem that we will have to figure out. So that is the thing with anonymity. Similarly, power and ideology. Now, digital voice operates within systems of power. Platforms shape what can be said and seen. Digital mediation is embedded within systems of power. So we know the voices that are amplified, and we know the voices that are marginalized as well, right? Now, while anonymity can enable resistance by reducing social risk, it can also obscure structural inequalities. Literary text, what happens is, with the help of literature, what we can do is they expose these dynamics. There are a lot of things that are being exposed because of literature. Now we know a lot of things are happening on the media, on the social media, or on the digital media, with respect to power and dynamics, whose voice should be heard and whose voice should not be heard. Everything is decided, right? So, what literature does is literary texts will showcase or expose these dynamics with the help of the literary devices. So, I'm just coming to the end of today's discussion. So, the core argument of what I want to, the core argument that I've been trying to explain here is that digital mediation does not erase voice. Okay, so by de-individuation, again, we are not talking about losing our identity. We are not losing our identity here, especially digital de-individuation or digital mediation does not erase our identity or our voice. What happens is there is a restructuring that is happening. There is a reconfiguration of voice that is more collective, because again, the group mentality or the mob mentality that I talked about earlier is there is a small shift from looking at it in a negative manner to a more um, coming in terms with it kind of a approach to it. So it is more collective. We try to look at it from from a group norm, and it is more mediated now. So the core argument, the core thing that I'm trying to say here is that the voice is not lost in digital culture. It is just a rewiring that is happening, a reconfiguration that is happening in literature. So, to conclude, I'm just trying to say that it is not lost. Fiction theorizes digital language, and voice is inseparable from technology. So what I've tried to do here is to offer a critical space to examine voices without faces in the digital age. So this is why I called my presentation Voices Without Faces. We have come to an age where our physical forms or our faces don't matter anymore. We It's only our voices or language that matter, right? So we have to live with this age, and we have to see how we can navigate this new era that we are in, right? So rather than talking about losing voice or erosion of voice, or de-individuation as a negative connotation, we can look at it as a new form of linguistic expression that definitely challenges traditional concepts of identity, of embodiment, of narration. Yes, everything is being challenged. There is a new style that is emerging, but I would say that that is the case with every new era, any new change that comes in mass communication, right? So when we try looking at literary texts from the point of view of de-individuation and computer mediated communication, we come to understand how fiction becomes a space for us to critically examine these voices without faces. So I hope you enjoyed this presentation of mine, and I hope it has inspired at least one or two of you to take up this for future research as well. I would really like to thank the college once again for having me here. It was very interesting to yeah, I should thank you for selecting this theme as well, because it inspired me to take up such a topic. It really helped me. So I've also provided the references. If you want me to share, I can always share it. So it really helped me look into new concepts, and explore new theories in literature. So it was very helpful for me as well, and I think I will also do some further study on this. And I should thank the college for giving me this opportunity to do this kind of a research, and I really hope that it helped some of you here to take forward some of the concepts that I mentioned here as well. So thank you once again for having me here. So if you have any questions, you can ask me now, and I'll try answering it to the best of my abilities. Thank you.
Thank you, madam, for your enlightening address. Uh, the virtual floor is now open for the question and discussions. So participants may kindly raise your question in your chat box. Madam, there is a question in chat box.
Yeah, I'm just going through the chat box now.
Jamruda.
Yes, I'm just reading her question. So, is language a neutral tool we use freely, or an ideology that quietly shapes how we think, judge, and exercise power? Oh, that's a wonderful question. But that's exactly what I've been trying to say here. So, in the traditional way, it used to be, it was bound by a lot of these constraints, like identity and social norms and ideologies and all of that. But today, power is always there. Power language is always a symbol of power too. But today, the thing is, there is a choice of whether you want to be anonymous or visible, and that can also that has to be dealt in a very, very delicate manner. And it does language definitely shapes how we think and judge, but due to the influence of CMC, or digital mediated communication, what has happened is there is a shift. There is definitely a shift in the way we look at things, the way we judge, the way the power is being exercised, and all of that. Yes. So previously there was a lot of constraints, but I would say now we are in an age where we are able to use language more freely. I think it's a more neutral tool, like you have mentioned. That's a beautiful question. I should think about that as well. So there's another, Nirupama, is literature and language is fragmented. I'm wondering if that is a question, or if she's mentioning it that way. No, I wouldn't say literature and language. I mean, if that is a question, um, like I said previously, no, it wasn't fragmented. But today, not all of literature is fragmented. I'm talking about literature that showcases digital mediated communication. So my topic was about how digital mediated communication has changed some of the aspects of literature. So there are novels that do not talk about digital mediated communication. So there is no fragmented conversation happening. But when you want to showcase digital mediated communication, or your novels are based on that, yes, the language is usually fragmented, because like I said, when it comes to digital mediated communication, there is an urgency to communicate what you want to say. You do not have the luxury of explaining things as it used to be explained in previous literary works, narratives. The narrative style is different when that work of fiction is based on computer mediated communication or digital mediated communication. Literature on the whole is not fragmented anymore. I'm talking about, so my concept was about digital mediated communication, and when that is a part of your literature, then yes, your language sometimes becomes fragmented. Yes, thank you for that question. There's another question by Samruddha. um, Connection in today's world. Beautiful question. Again, something that we need to all think about. So, what happens is, as I look at it, when you have voices without faces, who you're trying to connect to is a very, very important question. Who's your audience? Um, for example, I always take this example when I talk in class about pop culture and all of that. A simple post that you make on your social media is, you always have an audience in mind when you're making. When you're just posting a random picture, you know who it has to reach, right? You write it, or you write a caption, or you write something in such a way that it reaches that particular. So that is the um, connection that we're trying to make here. But when it comes to the meme culture or the trolling culture, who, I don't know if there is any connection that is happening, but it is about. It is about just putting your voice out there. You just want to be a part of the group. You want to be a part of the societal voices. You want to be that one voice that is standing out, right? So that is the kind of connection they're trying to make in today's world. Yeah, so that connection is a very, very difficult term today when you talk about digital mediated communication, because who are you trying to connect to is a very, very pertinent question. Again, when it comes to, when you read these novels, again, you understand that previously there you try to connect to the characters, right? In these novels, especially the short story Masked that I mentioned here, it takes, for me at least, it took a couple of readings for me to understand what each character is trying to explain them. That is, to understand the characters, to make that connection with the characters, it took a lot of time. That is what digital mediated communication can do. Because of the fragmented style that it has, the connection that it makes is also very, very fragmented. um, Thank you. There's another question. How does digitalization is not a pure and fixed platform? Okay. Yeah. So again, I think this is exactly what I've been explaining. Uh, this digital platform itself is quite like I said, there's a lot of power dynamics involved in it. So trying to understand which voice stands out and which voice is marginalized also takes a lot of time. So explaining the impact of it on human communication, I would say whatever I mentioned right now is what I can explain here. It is the communication has become very immediate, and what happens is at the same time we are able to wait for another. So, for example, I'm in a different time zone, and my the convener here time zone. So when I message something, I know within the stipulated time. So the communication, the impact, what I'm trying to say here is that um, there is there is there is a certain time that what do you say, I'm just trying to put my thoughts together here. So what happens is we are able to um, though we know that there is an immediate access to the person on the other side, we also know that we will get a response within a certain time. So the communication, we no longer rely on lengthy communications. We look at something that is very immediate or urgent to communicate whatever we want to urgent. So this is one of the impacts of digital media communication on us. There are a lot of other things that impact us. One of this is this fragmented style of communication, I would say, that has had a major impact on human thinking because of CMC is this fragmented style of communication and the immediacy with which we can communicate whatever we want to. And another thing is the permanence of the text. Whatever we put out there is also permanent, right? Because it's in the form of a text, and it is always going to leave a fingerprint or a print out there, digital print out there. So that is another concept that is another thing that has influenced human beings because of digital media communication. So because of what we want to explain or express, we put something out there in all urgency, but that's going to be there as a permanent print in the digital media. So that, I think, is another thing that we that has changed because of digital media. I really hope I've answered your question, but I will think about all of this a little more, and I hope I can give you better answers. Thank you. Thank you so much. I can also share my email with you, and I would really love to, um, have a conversation with all of you about any questions that you might have. Is it okay if I put my email there so you can
That is another
contact?
question.
Yeah. Yes, so yes, that is another power dynamics that we were talking about. So even on media platforms, there are voices um, that are meant to be heard out loud, and there are voices that are marginalized. This power dynamics is always it's always there, right? But if it's controlled by the author, if you're talking about it from the literary point of view, I would say that it totally depends on what the author wants to portray in that particular novel. I'm not sure if that is what you mean, but in the digital media, in the social media platform, yes, there is definitely a game of power dynamics that is happening, where voices are controlled. There are voices that are louder than the other voices, but the another good thing about the digital media platforms are we all have a voice. So it is not that how loud we are or how silent we are, but there is a space for everybody. So we can make ourselves heard if we want to. So that is one very very good side of digital media, I would say. But in fiction, yes, there is definitely a choice whether the author wants the voices to be marginalized, or the author wants the voices to be heard. It is definitely the under the control of the author. Yes, I would say that. So yeah, I will just put my just put my email there for you in case I found some really interesting questions from your side, which I would like to explore even further. So, if you have any more such questions, you can always reach out to me on this email ID, and I'll be really happy to discuss them with you. It'll keep me thinking as well. So yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for joining, all of you.
I think I think there is no questions from the audience. Dear participants, if you want to contribute, you please raise your questions in chat box. If you have any questions.
Sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
I really wish all the best to all the researchers who are going to be presenting their topics today. I really wish I can attend, but because of the difference in time, I really don't know if I will be able to. But I would really, I think I will be able to, if I can have a link or something that I can see later, I would really love to watch all the presentations.
We'll share.
I wish. Thank you. I wish you all the very best. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam. Professor Radhika Venugopal, Madam, for the insightful, thought-provoking, and intellectual stimulating keynote address.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Your illuminating and engaging talk on voices without faces, digital mediation, anonymity, and rewriting of voice in fiction has significantly deepened our understanding of the evolving dynamic of authorship and narrative identity in the digital age. Your nuanced reflections have inspired us to reconsider the shifting contour of voice, presence, and authenticity in contemporary fiction with renewed critical awareness and scholarly curiosity. I also extend my heartfelt thanks to all the participants for their active presence and engagement. Your participation contributes greatly to success of this academic forum. So with this, we formally conclude the keynote session, madam. Thank you very much for accepting our invitation and your noted.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me here.
Ma'am, now I'm just handovering this session to Dr. N. Sudhir Kumar sir to kindly take over the proceedings to the valedictory session, madam.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Sir, I request Dr. N. Sudhir Kumar sir to kindly take over the proceedings of the valedictory ceremony. Over to you, sir. Thank you all.
Hey, Venkatlakshmi ma'am. Good evening, all. I welcome you all to the valedictory session. Respected Principal Dr. B. Srinivasarao Garu, honorable members of the executive body, Dr. S.K. Nazir, President of IIC Bapatla Engineering College, distinguished resource persons, esteemed delegates, faculty members, dear participants, chairpersons, and friends joining from across the globe. A very warm welcome to the online valedictory function of the 3-day international conference on Voices Across Cultures, Innovations in Language and Literary Discourse 2026. Over the last 3 days, This virtual platform has truly become a global academic space where ideas crossed borders, cultures, and engaged in dialogue and language and literature, found new perspectives through meaningful discussions and research presentations. Ladies and gentlemen, a valedictory session is not merely a formal closure, it is a moment to pause, reflect, and celebrate the collective academic journey we have been undertaking during VCILLD 2026. And now, to begin with, to, to give us brief concluding report, I request Dr. PVN Malleshwara Garu, convener VCILLD 2026, to present the conference report. Sir, may I request you to kindly unmute and proceed? Dr. Malleshwara Garu.
Thank you. First of all, kindly let me know whether my voice is audible or not. Someone please help me.
Yes, sir, it is audible.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Uh, Respected Principal of Bapatla Engineering College, Dr. B. Srinivasarao sir, Executive Board members of Bapatla Education Society, Sri Muppanaya Srinivasarao sir, Karumanchi Venkatrao sir, Paripalli Chandrasekhar sir, Manav Nageswarao sir, Tottapalli Venki Chaudhary sir, Kota Veda Brahmaya sir, IIC BEC convener Dr. Sheikh Najib sir, distinguished keynote speakers, Professor M. Suresh Kumar sir, Dr. Priyanka Tripathi ma'am, Dr. C.H.A. Rajendra Prasad sir, Dr. Jaykaran Mukundan sir, Professor Radhika Venugopal ma'am, Dr. Jalil Abdul Jalil sir. And the session chairs of the event, Professor Manisha Patil ma'am, Dr. G. Rajkumar sir, Dr. Lakshmi Kantarao Daikapatti, Dr. D. Rajni ma'am, Dr. M. Sophia ma'am, Mr. K. Tanvibabu sir. Scholars, researchers, faculty members, dear participants, and students. Good evening to all. As we arrive the concluding moments of the three-day international conference on the selected topic titled The Voices Across Cultures, Innovations in Language and Literary Discourse, VCILLD 2026. It is both a privilege and a moment of deep satisfaction for me as a convener of the event. I would like to propose my valedictory address. Over the past 2 days, the gathering which we all gathered here to discuss many issues that has truly fulfilled its aim of encouraging intercultural dialogue, interdisciplinary thinking, and academic excellence. This event offered a lively platform where all scholars across the globe from different cultures, different regions, and different backgrounds come together, share their ideas, and deepen our understanding of language, literature, and cultural studies. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to the executive body members of Bapatla Education Society for their continuous support and encouragement for initiating this kind of events. I also express my profound thanks to Principal of Bapatla Engineering College, Dr. B. Srinivasarao sir, and the former Principal of Bapatla Engineering College, who approved this conference to conduct, Dr. N. Ramadevi ma'am, for their constant motivation, which made actually this academic endeavor possible. I am immensely grateful to our eminent keynote speakers and invited session chairs from India and abroad. Their insightful deliberations, scholarly depth, and thought-provoking perspectives have added immense academic value to this conference, and which actually inspired a lot and meaningful intellectual engagement among all participants. My sincere appreciation goes to all the research scholars, as I have already mentioned in my opening remarks of the speech during the opening remarks of the speech during the inaugural. Scholars out of 82 abstracts we received, 35, almost all the abstracts are received only from the scholars. That is what actually the conference is meant for. So we really felt very happy as a calendar that Most of the young scholars, they have sent their abstracts, which are very qualitative and high academic merit. I really thank them. I appreciate for their efforts. And their contributions reflect an originality, critical thinking, and really it is a genuine commitment that we have been checking, especially when we are reviewing it. I would like to place on record my deep sense of gratitude to the co-convener, Dr. K. Venkatalaxmi Madam, staff coordinators, Dr. M. Sudhir Kumar Sir, Mr. K. Kalyan Kumar Sir. Really, I should tell you that they worked tirelessly with me, along with me over the last month, and they played a crucial role in the successful conduct of this conference. Their dedication and hard work are truly commendable. I always believe that our hard work will be paid off at one day. It definitely will happen. I truly believe that sincere efforts will always be rewarded. I thank them wholeheartedly and wish them at the same time for their next and coming project. And also, a few I should thank our IEC BEC convener, Dr. Sheikh Najir sir, who has truly been a role model for all of us for initiating such kind of events. He is the one actually who became a principal in 2025. He initiated and sustained such academic activities during his tenure as a principal of this institution. And really, sir, your leadership has set a strong academic culture. You got us used to do it. And now we are happy to host this kind of big events because of your initiative. I really thank you a lot, sir. We learned a lot from you only. Thank you, sir. And the faculty members of faculty members of Department of English. I thank Dr. C. Venkatalaxmi ma'am, Dr. Shabri ma'am, Dr. Usha ma'am, Monica ma'am, Tanbabu sir, Veeraya sir, Kalyan sir, and our non-teaching staff, Lokesh sir. Everybody who contributed directly and indirectly. I really thank for everybody for their continuous support. And also, I should not forget the efforts of our literary student run club, which is under the supervision of Department of English, AWAS, and the student volunteers. Their meticulous planning, tireless efforts, and seamless coordination in giving the YouTube streaming and preparing the poster for everything. Really, it ensured the smooth conduct of all sessions and activities throughout the conference. As we conclude, I sincerely hope that the discussions that we had all through these 3 days, ideas and collaborations initiated, definitely it will continue beyond these sessions and contribute meaningfully to future research and academic partnerships. With these few words, I declare the International Conference VCILLD 2026 formally concluded. I wish you all continued success in your academic and professional endeavors. Thank you all for your presence, cooperation, and invaluable contributions. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you very much, sir. We now move on to the most important segment of today's function. It's my privilege to invite our distinguished valedictory speaker, Dr. S.K. Nazir, President IIC of Bapatla Engineering College, to deliver the valedictory address. Sir, may I request you to kindly unmute and address the gathering?
Thank you, Sudhir sir. Is my voice audible, sir?
Yes, sir. Your voice is audible, sir.
Respected Head of the Department English and Convener of the 3-day International Conference, Dr. P.V.N. Malleswara sir, Co-Convener of this conference, Dr. Venkatalaxmi Madam, Staff Coordinators, Dr. N. Sudhir sir, Dr. K. Kalyan sir, and other staff members of English, other dignitaries, keynote speakers, faculty members, and research scholars. A very good afternoon to everyone, sir. It's a privilege to be a part of valedictory session of this international conference organized by Department of English in association with Bapatla Engineering College Institution Innovation Council. Really, I am delighted to know that conference received an impressive response with 110 research papers, out of which 82 high-quality papers were carefully shortlisted by the department for presentation. The participation of research scholars and researchers from various countries like Malaysia, Oman, and United Kingdom, and various parts of India also reflects the international reach and academic significance of this conference. These encouraging figures clearly testify to the resounding success of conference and the collective efforts of the organizers, presenters, and participants. I sincerely congratulate the organizing committee and volunteers successfully conducting of this 3-day conference. During these days, we witnessed meaningful discussion on language, literature, and culture and innovation. The conference truly reflects its theme, Voices Across Cultures, by bringing together scholars and ideas from different perspectives. Language connects people, and literature helps us understand society's emotions and human experiences beyond boundaries. In today's digital and global world, Radhika Madam rightly presented that innovation is not limited to science and technology. Innovation also exists in ideas, in interpretation, creativity, and communication. Humanities and literature play a crucial role in developing critical thinking, empathy, and effective communication skills that are essential for both career and life. I encourage the research scholars to continue their academic pursuit with curiosity and originality. I appreciate and collaborate between the Department of English and Bapatla Engineering College Institution Innovation Council. Such interdisciplinary initiative align with the holistic education and prepare students for the future also. I once again congratulate the Department of English, all organizers and participants. Let the discussions and collaboration start here, continue even after this conference. Thank you, sir. Thank you all. I wish you a bright and successful future. Thank you, madam.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, for your insightful and inspiring valedictory address. Your reflections beautifully captured the spirit and academic essence of this conference. Dear participants, e-certificates will be sent to your registered email IDs. Submission of online feedback form and attendance sheet is mandatory. So now it's time to close. And Department of English. Extend our heartfelt thanks to all the resource persons, delegates, participants, organizing committee members, and volunteers for making this international conference a resounding success. We hope the academic connections formed here will continue beyond the conference and lead to meaningful collaborations in future. Thank you all for your valuable participation. Have a pleasant evening. Stay safe.
Thank you, sir.
And we will inform you about the papers publication. Regarding the publication, don't leave the WhatsApp groups, please. We will inform regarding the paper publication fees, and quality of your papers will be checked through plagiarism, and we will inform you. We will be in touch with you till the publication will be over. So please continue to stay in the WhatsApp group.
So as it is already informed in the group, I request all the participants do not leave the WhatsApp group. We will update you everything regarding the paper publication. I told you already that from Monday onwards, you will get messages. So kindly please be in the WhatsApp group. Thank you all.
Thank you all.
Bye bye.